of Utah.
I was so scared to look
That up, I'm going to start off with a couple of announcements. The first announcement is that if you join the Interior Design Club, I am finding that many people aren't getting 2 of the emails that we sent out. So we sent out the emails in like 3 or 4 waves, but you should have gotten an invitation from a website called OrgSync to kind of officially add you to the club homepage. And then in addition to that, you should have gotten another email from me. Yeah, just from my naima.nawabi@slcc.edu with essentially the exact same message that we sent out in OrgSync. And that message had a link in it. Let me show you where that link would send you. It's not very exciting, but it still is important to have. That link would automatically add this Canvas course to your dashboard, the SLCC Interior Design Club. And if I come down to members, you can take a quick peek if you've been added or not. Sorry, let me go to people. But essentially, this is one of our main ways of communicating with you. So if there's club events, we will do all of them as discussions or announcements, so you can kind of see what's going on. But we had at least 23 new members, and I can't count that quickly, but that doesn't seem like it's quite 23 people. Have you not? Okay.
No.
Several people in my last class, it was the same situation. So I don't know if we'll have time to go over it today, but next week I'm going to carve out some time just so you guys can make sure that you're added to this and on OrgSync. Because unless you've added this, you won't know that this is the event for February. So I'm just announcing it to all of my classes so that you don't miss it. But this is this Thursday, and I've added it to our class as an assignment in the form of a discussion. You'll see it's not worth any points, but you will get credit for going. You'll get extra credit for going. The National Kitchen and Bath Association is trying to do a membership drive. And it's only $10 for students, which is even less than if you are already a member, like through your kitchen and bath class, or I don't think anybody here has taken professional practice, but it's even less for those situations. So if you go to our discussions, you can RSVP to Jeanette at Pepper Tree Kitchen, or send her a text or call her and just let her know that you will be there Thursday night. And I did it as a discussion. I'm already subscribed. But if you want to subscribe to it, that way you can try to reach out to people like, hey, is anybody going? Does anybody want to carpool? So I hope that I see some of you guys there Thursday night. It should be a fun night from 6 to 9. Are you guys in class that time? Anybody?
No, but I already have plans.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough, fair enough. Hopefully more stuff will come throughout the semester that you guys can join us. So just wanted to make those announcements, and we will figure out what's going on with all of these invitations on OrgSync and my email next week when we have a little bit more breathing room. So let's go ahead and get started into this week's lecture, but I hope you guys have had a chance to download 06 Cheering for the Wrong Team, Color Transformation. And the file looks something like this. So what we will be doing today is we're going to learn how to change colors within a Photoshop file. So you can see I have blue shirt, white shirt, and orange shirt. And what I'd like to do is let's turn off white and blue so that we only see the orange shirt. And I am also going to add a new folder. And I'll just call this orange shirt. Sorry? No? It had it last week, right? No. Let me pause this. All right. So again, this is where I'm going to be. We've got orange shirt, folder, and then orange shirt here. And what we're going to do today is learn the different methods of how to change the color in an object. So make sure the others are off so that we're only looking at the orange shirt. And if you guys heard me talking to Sid at the beginning of class, it's a perfect intro because we were talking about BYU and I was teasing that it's not the right school. So when I made this assignment, I was teasing one of our students that the only like good color shirt to wear as far as supporting a team is red. I graduated from the U, but I really don't care. But this assignment, we will be taking all of these different colored shirts and we're going to change them to look like they're orange. So that's our goal for the day. Take these shirts and change them to look orange. And the technique for changing orange to red will be different than changing blue to red, right? It'll be slightly different. But is everybody ready to go? Yeah? Okay. So let's start off by coming down to our transformation layers, adjustment layers. And when you pull down, we're going to use a new one today called hue saturation. And let's just take a minute to notice that we've got our orange shirt folder, we've got this new adjustment layer for hue saturation, and we've got our orange shirt. So if I were to collapse this, everything I'm doing with that shirt is here grouped in the folder. Okay? And again, it was hue saturation. Everybody with me? Yeah? Good. So coming back to my hue saturation layer, make sure that you can see your properties. And let's just start playing around with it straight out of the box without making any adjustments. So if we take this hue, this first toggle right here, start playing around with it to like the left and right, and maybe just take about 30 seconds. It's changing color, right? That part's obvious, correct? But here's the weird part. So right now, if I go towards the blue, is his shirt turning blue? No. And if I go towards like the red and the pinks, is his shirt like this pink color? And it's not just his shirt, right? Like right now he's kind of got like a Frankenstein skin tone. His lips are green, so he looks a little sickly. So what's happening here is we start out with red, reddish. No, this is orange, Naima. We're in an orangish tone. And essentially what Photoshop is doing is it's adding the color to this color right here. So, and that I could even be completely, that doesn't seem right, because if we add blue to orange, we definitely don't get yellow. Ignore that part of what I'm saying, but the way that you can actually make it change to the color that you want comes straight down from those toggle points. And do you see where it says colorize? Right? So click on colorize, and now you'll be able to see that as you move the slider, it will reflect the color that it's showing. Okay? So for this example, let's make the shirt purple. Okay? So come over to the purple area, and can you guys see just pretty quickly that it's purple-ish, but not quite purple, right? Do you see the two toggles beneath it, saturation and lightness? I want you guys to find a purplish color, right? And then after that, start playing with the saturation and lightness to make it more purple. Okay, so play with that for a minute and see what you can find. And yes, I realize he looks like he's had a lot of Kool-Aid or really bruised, I'm not sure. Did you guys find a shade of purple that you liked? Okay. So with this, it's really just a lot of like back and forth. There is no exact science to this. You just kind of have to fudge it until you get the shade that you want. I don't know if you're going for like a dark royal purple or if you're going for more of like a bright violet lavender. I'm not sure. But whenever you get a color you want, you kind of have, you have half of our goal done. Our goal was to change the color of the shirt. So we've changed the color of the shirt, but what do we need to fix here?
Skin.
Yeah, his skin and everything else. So again, I'm doing one of those classes. We're halfway through. I want you guys to think about it first before I just give you the answer. So if you look at the layer, what does it already have attached to it? And I'm kind of hovering over it. Did you guys see that? So it already comes with a mask. And so Photoshop realized that when we added this transformation layer, it's like, I'm just going to build in a mask because you're probably not changing the overall color of everything. Unless, has anybody been to Lagoon and you do like one of those like sepia tone, like old Western photos? Okay, we're not doing that, right? So if we were, we could just leave it like that. But it automatically assumes that, okay, you're going to need a mask on this. So we have to go back and start thinking about our masking techniques. So we are working with the shirt, so I'm going to go ahead and turn this off for a minute. I'm not deleting it, but I just want to focus on the shirt for a minute because the shirt is what I'm really trying to select. We know several ways of selecting the shirt. Shout them out to me. What are your favorites?
Object selection tool.
Yep, object selection tool, lasso, we've got the magic wand tool, which we haven't loved, but today we might actually love the magic wand tool. Remember I promised during that like first and second week of class, I'm like, there will be a day where you like the magic wand tool. The day has come. So today I know that you know other ways of selecting this, and you can do that in the future, but for today let's do the magic wand. So everybody hit W for wand, and then coming over to your toolbars, make sure you right click and go to your magic wand tool. I'm going to hang out here for a minute so you can kind of see where those shortcuts are. I think it's a sad coincidence that you and the person who sits there in Revit are both really sick.
I'm not really sick. I just got a tickle.
Okay.
And this is like in the last 5 minutes.
Just really like positive thinking. I'm not sick.
I better not be sick. Don't wish that on me.
Fair. Okay. I do not wish it on anybody. So with the magic wand, again, if we just click on his shirt, we still don't love the magic wand, right? Like I can hear you guys clicking and swearing at me like, you lad. Hit Control D to deselect for me. And what we're really looking for is a right click right now. And we want to go down to color range. Oh, it usually works pretty well. Bear with me, it might not, but I think it will. So when we go down to color range, did everybody find that? Okay. Once we're in color range, I'm going to scooch this over. So again, there is no exact science to this, so we're going to just kind of have to play with it. You can click anywhere on his shirt that's orangish, and do you see how it gets a lot of the orange? You'll be amazed if you click on the orange in his armpit. See how that's so much different than the other colors of orange, right? Click somewhere, I mean click anywhere, it really doesn't matter, but just try to get as much orange as you can. And take a look at my screen. Do you see this thing called fuzziness? What that's going to do is it starts to expand the selection. Like it really goes into that gray area of orange. So instead of looking for that exact shade of orange, it's going to look for the orange-ish colors. So I'm up to about 112 on my fuzziness, and I think I have a lot of the orange. Okay. And then once you think you have a pretty good amount of the shirt, you can click on OK. And now we have to go back and remember what the point of all of this was. Do you guys remember? To change the color of the shirt, but we've changed the color of the shirt, right? But not only did we change the shirt, what did we do? We did his skin, yes, right? So we're trying to mask it now. So there's two ways, sorry, what?
It still didn't select the whole thing.
Pretty close. See how I don't have like the armpit?
But mine is not even pretty close.
I would go back and do it again then. It should be pretty, let me do it with you. So again, we're gonna go to wand, and then right click and go to color range. Okay, and then I think by default the fuzziness is around 40. I could be wrong, but I'm going to take it back down to 40. And then Lorena, I would use this as kind of like a guide to see how much fuzziness you need. So I'm going to keep going.
It's just like yours. Mine's at 110 fuzziness.
Okay, and it's pretty solid white? Okay, and then when you click on OK, do you not get these kind of like marching ants?
Yeah, but it's like
I don't have any marching
I don't
ants.
have any marching ants at all.
After you select it?
Yeah, I haven't.
in mine is just that.
Like, I mean, after I
It's not even close.
Okay, I'm going to hit Control D one more time. So everybody hit Control D for me. Okay. One thing I'm wondering, if you didn't do the Control D to begin with, it may have just been looking at what was already selected. I'm not sure. Let's start it from the beginning though. So as long as you hit Control D, now let's right click, color range. I don't know what, you have to give me more than just that.
No, I did it again and it didn't do anything.
I think it's just because it's still on like the magic wand, so just like if she clicks on the shirt, it's still just like
Selecting.
magic
Okay.
wand, like, fuzzy.
So I'm going to go really, really slow. Really slow. Hit Control D. Nothing is selected, right? We're not clicking. We're just right clicking. Okay. And then we're going to go to color range. Right? And I'm going to take mine back down to 40 or something like that. Now it's okay to click on it. And you should see like a color dropper and not a wand. Okay? And it's not white yet, right? You have to bump up the fuzziness to get a white shirt. Whoa, I went too far. I don't want his arms. Okay. So do you guys see white in your shirt on the preview? Lorena, you see white in your shirt? Okay. When you click OK, is that the point where it doesn't have a selection? It just does nothing. Okay, let me keep going. I don't know how to answer that. But to the other people in my crowd, do you guys have something selected? Yeah? Okay, let me walk through the rest of it with you guys, then I'm going to come back and save Kate and Lorena. I will be back. So there's several ways that we can add the mask here, okay? Tell me some of the ways that we could mask. There's not one way of doing this next part. Can you guys tell me one way?
Just to establish like the mask, or
Yeah, we already have a mask, right? Yep, so Linda is saying just make a mask, okay? Now, did that help us yet? Because it masked the shirt like my dude's gone. My handsome dude is gone. This could help us though. What can I do with this mask?
just copy it over the top of the other one.
Yeah, good. I can drag and drop it right here. Have we just dragged and dropped before? Typically, we've held the Alt button down, like we've copied masks, but this time, I'm just going to move this mask because I don't want to mask my boyfriend. Don't tell my husband, right? I don't want to mask him. I just want to mask the shirt. Let me back up and do that again. So, what we did, we had a selection. I'm sorry for those of you guys that don't have a selection yet. But when I have a selection, just like we did when we first start the class, I can click on a mask. There's my mask of the shirt. And then I can drag that on top of the color layer. So now just to test it, if I turn on my color transformation, see how the purple is just on the shirt? Yeah? Okay. I just turned the eyeball back on. So now if I were to go and change the properties, he's not changing. It's really just the shirt because we've masked it. We've isolated it to just the shirt. Kristen?
So I missed the step to get that hue saturation layer.
Okay, so come down here to your adjustment layers, hue saturation.
Ew.
There's lots of fun stuff in here.
Awesome.
Got it? Cool.
I think I figured out our problem.
What's that? Did you guys get it at the same time?
Did you?
No, I did. How do I get out of full screen?
Tab. What was yours?
So I didn't have it selected like the layer. I didn't have it.
Oh, okay. And I didn't even, I'm glad you figured it out.
And I was like, oh.
Good. Okay. So let me back up. So that was one way of doing it. So I'm going to go back to where he was selected. Right here? Yep, right here. So let's back up. That was one way of doing it. And Linda, that's probably how I would have done it. And I'm impressed because I'm like, they're not going to get this one. But I'm glad you got it. There you go. Another way that you could do it is now that this is selected, you could click on the mask that's already been created for you, and then just gradient spill. Why is it saying no? Oh, the target. Oh, let me turn it back on. And then just paint into here. And I did that wrong, so I'm going to go ahead and inverse it. Is that right? Let me do that one more time. I did not paint it correctly. Paint bucket. Okay. And now when I come here, that's still backwards. There we go.
Wait, how did you do that?
Let me go back to here. Okay, so I'm not going to go through selecting the orange again. The orange has been selected. See how I already have a mask created? So since my mask is created, what I want to do is take my gradient bucket and spill the paint where I want it to go. So right here, if I click out here, it gets the black into the shirt because that's what I have selected. Are you still with me?
Yes.
Okay.
My cursor is paint bucket because the target layer is thin.
Oh, so turn it back on. The eyeball is probably off.
Oh.
So many little subtleties being thrown at you. Okay. Let me fix this real quick and then I'll answer it. So on mine, what I need to do, my layer mask is basically the opposite of what I want. So a lot of us have done this before. We do Control I to invert it. So if you take a look at the preview of my mask, when I hit Control I to invert it, see how it goes white to black and then black to white?
No, everything's purple.
Oh, so you might just need, if everything's still purple, your mask probably isn't colored in yet. So take a look at your mask real quick.
Yeah, but if I invert it, then everything.
Yours might be right.
I don't know.
So let me just say, at the end, this is what you want.
Right.
Sid, what was your question?
I'm really confused. So I'm stuck right here.
Okay.
I just put the paint bucket on and turned out like that.
That seems like a lot of paint bucket, though. See how that's pretty much like a solid black paint bucket?
Yeah.
Like on your mask layer? I would undo whatever you just did. So everybody seems very sad. Let me start this over. Hot dang. I know when to call it quits. So I'm going to delete that. And this is like that weird record thing. I'm just going to start it over. If I lost you at any point, a lot of times, and this happens most often in my Revit class. So Fabi, you can back this up. Who else is in my Revit class? Anybody? Yep, Olivia. What is our slogan in Revit when things aren't working? What do we sing?
Let it go.
Thank you. I sing Frozen's Let It Go, right, Samantha? So I hate to sound like a jerk, but by the time we figure out why it's not working, let's just start it over again, right? Because everybody's going to be a little bit off. So let's start it over. So with that, wherever I lost you, go ahead and just back up to this point where we have orange shirt and we don't even have the hue saturation. Because, Kristen, that's where I lost you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is your name Kristen?
Yes. You have it right.
Yes. Okay, cool. So starting here, if you are curious, about 24 minutes into the lecture is where we started round 2. So just FYI. So to start us off, let's come to our adjustment layer. And again, we want hue saturation. Okay. So here's our hue saturation layer. And
How do you take out a hue saturation?
say that one more time.
How do you take this out?
Got it? Okay. Before I start changing colors, what do I need to click on to make sure that the color slider of hue matches what's happening to the shirt? Good. So we're going to click on Colorize, and you'll immediately see right now it says green, but it's like a reddish, pinkish shirt. As soon as I hit Colorize, it changed the color, but now you can see my greens truly do look green. Okay. So Colorize is the first step, and for our example, again, I've asked you guys to make it purplish. So get it to the purple family, and then we use these other 2 toggles. So saturation is basically how much purple you want in there. So can you see that when I lower the saturation, it's basically gray, but this is just adding more purple and less purple. And then lightness means that you're essentially taking that purple and you're either making it like a darker shade of that purple or a brighter and then eventually lighter shade of that purple. Okay. So you can work with those. Again, this isn't an exact science. We could spend half the semester talking about color theory. So we're just going to talk about it in vague terms of purple. Okay. So we've got a purple shirt, but we also have purple lips and purple arms and purple jeans. Not what we want, right? So this is the part where I promise I will go super slow because I lost people here. I will try not to lose you this time. And if I do, I will find you. And even better, maybe you can find yourself the way Kate did, right? So we'll see. So what I'm going to do is hop on the orange shirt because that's really what we're trying to isolate. If we tried to isolate anything here, it's a blank layer, so it doesn't get us anything.
Oh, I think that's what I did.
Okay, you're trying to select in a blank layer?
Yeah.
Okay. We've let it go. It doesn't matter. We've moved on, right? I'm going to add another kind of source of confusion. I'm going to turn off the hue saturation, only because I want to make sure I'm grabbing the orange shirt. And I can't see the orange shirt when there's purple on top of it. Okay. So we've got our orange shirt, and as promised, we're going to hit W and go to Magic Wand because it will actually work for us this time. Okay. If I just click right now, does that help me? No. So I'm going to hit Control D to deselect. What do I want to do right now?
Right click.
Yep. Right click, color range. Okay. And then hopefully everybody knows how to like click into the orange and play with the fuzziness so that you can get a good, almost solid white selection of the shirt. Yeah? Everybody got a good selection? Let's find out. If we click on OK, you should see a pretty good portion of his shirt is selected. Yes? Ants marching? Lorena, do you have ants marching this time? Okay. Woohoo! So now this is where the second question comes up. So good, I didn't lose anybody there. We've all got ants marching. The second question, and this has so many answers to it, is how do we want to mask this, right? And the most basic way of thinking about masking is we need to paint whatever we don't want colorized black, because remember, black is like that cloak of invisibility, okay? So do you guys remember what we did the first time when Linda suggested something? What was it? Yep, we're just gonna mask it because when we click on mask, it automatically adds a mask. So go ahead and add a mask for me. And then we can see that, hooray, the shirt has been masked, but is that where we wanted the layer mask to go? No, we didn't want him to be masked, we just wanted his shirt to be masked. So where should I put this?
In the hue saturation.
Yeah, so this is a mask I've already created, and we've done this before, like when we were doing levels and we already had a mask for an object and we wanted to make sure that the levels were only on that particular object. We would copy the mask up, but this time we're just dragging and dropping it on top of the shirt. Everybody got that part okay? Yeah?
Is it replacing the layer mask?
Mm-hmm. Yep. I turned, I think when it asks you that, it says, do not ask me again. So I clicked on the thing where it says, don't ask me again. Because I'm like, I'm confident in what I'm doing with my masks. I can always undo it. And then the last step to see the purple shirt would be to turn this eyeball back on. Yay! Sweet, it only took 5 minutes that time instead of the 23 the first time. So does everybody have a purplish shirt now?
Yeah, but mine still has like orange pits.
That's okay. You might have to go back and add to your mask. So you could even just click on the mask here and get a black brush and either add, or like maybe not, if you're adding, sorry, it would be a white brush. You might need to add that to your selection. One of those two. So now what I'd like you guys to do is start that whole process over on your own. Like, I know we've already done it a couple times, but I think only half of you guys did it that second time. So honesty policy now, grab that whole layer again and just delete it for me. And I want you on your own, start that whole process, but get me a red shirt. And I'll check in just a minute, okay? So I'm gonna hop in with you guys. And what I'm gonna do is essentially just change my purple shirt to the red shirt. I've paid my dues. I know what I'm doing here. And again, the color of red is so subjective, but I'm gonna go with kind of like a darker red like this. So all of us, our red shirts will look slightly different than one another. Let me do a quick poll. Has everybody at least started their blue shirt?
No.
Not yet? Which one? Are you still on the orange?
Well, yeah.
Okay, no worries. I'm going to give you some time in there. So let me hop back in here. I'm going to actually turn off some of these. Let me actually even get rid of this right here. Okay, so I know I'm skipping ahead, but some of you guys have started the white shirt and it's not fun, right? Because it's hard to select. Now this will not happen every time because you might get an object where you do actually have to isolate this. You have to go through with whatever tool that you want. But we just happen to be lucky enough to where we have an orange shirt and a blue shirt that's set up pretty similarly, right? So think back to when we were working on levels. Okay, you had already imagine your Salk Institute, right? So you had started off the assignment by masking some objects into the Salk Institute. And I was like, okay, great, you masked them, but now I want you to add levels to them. And when you first click on levels, does it apply it just to that object or to the whole space? The whole space, okay. So thinking of that same concept, how did you fix the problem in that file, and how could you do that in here? Think about it for a minute, see if it comes to you. And we kind of already did it.
Like selecting it.
It's even simpler than selecting it.
That was like easy than that.
I guess it depends on what you mean by selecting it. Like, do you mean selecting it with like a wand or something like that? It's even simpler. And I know as soon as I show you, you're gonna be like, oh, simpler than that. So take a,
Copy the mask.
yeah. So I see how I already have a mask for my orange shirt, right? I've got a mask for my orange shirt. Isn't that basically the same mask I need for my white shirt and my blue shirt? It might not be the same color, but we're masking the same thing. So how do I copy this mask or this layer up here? Alt. So the magic button is Alt. So again, I'm sorry you can't see it on my screen. It's just a red cursor. But if I hold Alt, it turns into a double-headed selection arrow. And I'm going to drag and drop it on top of my white t-shirt. And now just so I'm not confused, I'm going to turn off my orange shirt. So do that one more time. I took the layer mask I created for my orange shirt because it's the exact same thing I need for my white shirt. I'm holding Alt and dragging and dropping on top. So now if I go to my color transformation, it's a little bit easier to make it look red. Still not perfect, but a little bit easier. And there's a couple things that we can do to even fix it in here.
Why is mine like pastel?
You might just need to work on the saturation maybe.
It's all the way up.
Is it? There could be one other thing if you've already done it. Turn off your other layer's already off, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't know if that one would be doing anything on top of it. Is colorize on?
Did you turn down your lightness?
Mm-hmm. Make your lightness really dark.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Okay, maybe too much. There you go.
Yeah.
I think that's what you needed.
Why is it so pastel? Right?
So there's one other thing that I want to test. I don't know if it's going to work, but can you see here that like the armpits are still a little weird? So the first thing I would do, I think somebody was saying that their armpits. Was that you, Sharissa? Yep. So I'm going to do what I told you in this example here. So I'm going to hit the slash so I can see a little bit better as to where my mask is. But I'm going to hit B for brush, and I actually want this to be white. That might be too much. Nope. Okay, I think that starts to help because now it's looking like more of a shadow than a highlight. And I'm doing all of this on my mask layer. So what worked well on the orange shirt still needs to be a little bit adjusted on the orange shirt, like even around the neck. And then down here at the bottom, do you guys see how I have these like awkward highlights? So again, in the orange shirt, it didn't matter, but here I'm gonna go ahead and add it into my mask to make it look a little bit better. So the next time you go through like a J. Crew catalog or any catalog where you're ordering shirts or sheets and you wonder how they can get the exact same model to look the exact same in every photo, this is how. And here by his thumb, see how it's kind of weird? I'm gonna cheat because there's no way I could get a brush in there cleanly. So I'm actually gonna lasso this area off real quick. And that becomes my workspace, so when I get my brush in there, I don't accidentally get his thumb or his pants. Yeah, I can't do it, so I just lasso it off. Like, this is my work area. This is what I'm gonna do. Let me grab your attention one more time. So for this week, your exercise assignment is kind of a two-part thing. So the exercise portion of it was what we are doing in class right now. We took our shirts and we changed every one of them to be red. That was part one. Now the second part of this is you are going to reopen this file just as we did at the beginning of class. And what I want you guys to do is to change every shirt to a color of your choice. I don't care if they're all the same or if each one of them is a different color, but I want you to change all of the colors and then add a logo to it too. So it could be a logo, an image, whatever you want, but just make it look like a believable t-shirt. So there's gonna be lots of combining of techniques in here. Okay, so that'll be the second part. I'm gonna give you guys maybe another 5 minutes or so just to keep working on this or starting the next one. And then what I'll do is go over the other two assignments that I have open for you guys too that starts to tie stuff in. To kind of help troubleshoot with that, like right now, are all of the shadows gone?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me think about this for 1 sec, because even on my brush, okay, click on your mask layer for me. And is it set right here? Does it say normal and then opacity 100? Okay. Try this for me. This might help. Take your opacity down to like 80 or 90% to see if that helps some of the shadows come through. but not quite. Does it still look pretty solid though? Like solid red? I'm trying to think of how, let me turn this off. What shirt are you working on right now?
White.
The white one? And are the other shirts off? Just, the other ones aren't on, right? When you worked on your orange shirt, did you have, like, do the shadows appear on that one? Or does that one look solid too? What about yours, Lorena? Okay. Your exercise done, where everything is red. You can go ahead and turn that part in as just one PSD file. And then for the assignment portion of it, I will need 3 JPEGs. Does that make sense? So for the exercise, I only need 1 PSD. But for your exercise, I'll need the 3 JPEGs so that I can see each shirt plus the logo that you put on it. Do you see how they're both kind of built into the same assignment? So the exercise portion, just turn in your PSD again. And then for the assignment, I want the JPEGs so I can mark them up. Well, no, not one go. No, you can do, like, if you're done with the exercise in the lab, you can turn it in now. I won't be grading these until next week. So you can keep working on this while it's open. But they're all in here.
And then 3 JPEGs from the exercise?
From the assignment.
Okay.
Yep,
But
just,
not the first.
yeah, I don't need 3 red shirts.
Okay.
Yep, so don't send me 3 red shirts. Just send me the 3 shirts that you're designing on your own. Okay?
And then the PS or
PSD, yeah. So if you, okay, I'm going to look at my assignment. I swear it's here. The last lines, please turn in the PSDs of your assignment and exercise. Okay? Please turn in 3 JPEGs of the shirts from your assignment to show the color change in logo. Okay? So how many files will you be turning in total? Close. 5. Because you're going to do the PSD of your exercise and assignment, and then 3. And in fact, if you do them all in one, it could just be 4, right? If you do all of them in the same file, it could be 4 or 5. But the main thing is make sure to turn in the 3 JPEGs of your shirts. Got it? Okay. I'm going to let you guys work on this for just a bit, and then I'll go over the other 2 assignments too so that you can just hop on to whichever one you want. Okay, so I'm going to start with the art wall exercise. And the art wall exercise, what this does is it combines what we worked on last week with the billboards and combines it with what we did this week. So we're going to be doing both things. What I've done is I've given you the scene, and what I'm asking for is I have one example of art that I want you to transform into one of these picture frames. Now, it's up to you if you want to keep the white matte area or just take it to the edge of the frame. So this is the art that I have given you guys. It's a piece by Shepherd Ferry. And then in addition to that, I think I went to the wrong assignment. Nope. So in addition to that, I want you guys to add one more piece of art into the art wall frames. And I don't have it listed here, but I'll add it. If you want to do one more for extra credit, I will add one more. Okay? So you guys can do the one that I've given you plus 2 more of your choice. At least one more. Okay? Everybody with me on those so far? So again, I'm just going to make sure that everything looks symmetrical and that it's been transformed correctly. And again, you can decide whether or not you want to keep the matte space. It's up to you. And then in addition to that, I've also said, please place the pillow into the scene twice. Now, what on earth does that mean? I have also included a pillow, and I want you guys to bring this pillow into the scene somewhere in 2 different locations. Okay? So lots of different photoshopping techniques for that one too. So here's the pillow, and I want you to mask it and transform it and bring it into the scene.
Do you want us to change the lighting too?
You can, yeah. That goes into the other thing I was going to talk about. Colorize 2 items of your choice. Okay, so please select 2 different items and change their hue. So Linda, for you, you could change the pillow, but there's lots of things in this room that you can change the color of. You could do the upper cabinets, you could do the light fixture, the tulips. Just find 2 things to change. Okay, Lorena, you all right?
I was just excited because I was like, ooh, we're gonna finish this here and that's it.
Well, I'm excited you guys get to keep photoshopping. All right. You guys know that we always have an exercise and then we have an assignment. So that's nothing new. But wait, there's more. I do have one more thing, but this next assignment is open for 2 weeks. This is part of your midterm, but I did want to give you guys 1 extra week to work on it. So the next assignment that we'll be doing, actually before I get off of this one, any questions on it? No? Okay, all the files are here for you, so you can jump on this during class time too, if you would like. I think I already closed it. Let me pull it up real quick. So this is a pretty big assignment, I think, because this will be the first time where you guys put together a board that showcases a room. So I'm giving you this space, and I like to call it a dollhouse because everything that we put in here will like shrink down into what looks like tiny furniture. And what I'm asking for you guys is I want at least 6 objects to create a room for a client. So this particular project, I've seen lots of things. I've seen people turn it into a bedroom, a living room, an office. It's really up to you to find 5 items and dress this room. And when you guys look for those items online, after that, you guys will have to mask them, maybe color transform them, levels, brightness, everything that we've done up until this point. We're finally taking all of the tools and techniques that we've learned, and we're actually putting it into creating a room. This time, the room is for me. I'm your client. And what I'll be looking for is I want, again, at least those 6 items. And you guys can add 3 more for extra credit. So whatever those pieces are. And then I have just included color transformation on 1 object. But again, you can color transform more than 1. The thing that I haven't listed here that you should just kind of know, I've listed it here. If you need to change the levels so that the items look like they belong in the room, please do, right? Like, don't just assume that everything you download off the internet will go into that room perfectly. You'll have to transform it, and transforming means changing the shape, changing the size, and then maybe the levels of it as well. If you, I don't know if you've noticed, but the GIF that I have for our class, it is that room, but it's not populating. Oh, that's embarrassing. Yeah.
So with the files, with the hue saturation and the layers, are they able to be in the same file, or do they?
Yep, everything's happening at once. And in
Okay.
fact, they should be grouped together.
Okay.
So similar to our t-shirt today, let's pretend the t-shirt was a sofa. Your sofa will go in its own folder, and you'll do all of your transformations in that folder for just your sofa.
Okay.
Okay.
And the hue and saturation file also goes in that?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yep, hue, saturation, levels, any sort of masks you have, everything should go right there. Okay, so I don't know why mine isn't playing. That makes me sad. Let me go to my files. Let me pull this off to the side. But the little GIF that I have playing is actually that room being populated. Let me see if I can find it in here.
Oh, the one that you see on the side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know why it's not coming up. This is so weird. I know it's in there. Is it this one? Dollhouse JPEG. That's not it. Well, when you get some time today, and even like maybe right now before you go, again, take a look at the image I have for the cover of our class. Typically, this is a GIF, and you can see the room being filled up with furniture, but it just doesn't love me today, so it's not going to work. Do you see it? Yep, that's where I am. So here under the course details, you can kind of see it. So this goes pretty quickly, but you can see one item is the rug. The sofa is another item. The chairs are another item. So part of this will really just be your luck on finding things on Google that already kind of are somewhat in the perspective of that room. Okay, don't try to tweak things too much to where they look crazy, but try to find things that already fit the perspective of that room. Okay. And remember, that's due in 2 weeks. You have an extra week to work on that one. Any questions on the Dollhouse assignment? No? I really hope that you guys have fun with the Dollhouse assignment and the art wall, especially since we're finally getting into more of the interior design realm. You guys should start enjoying these projects a little bit more.